Welcome back, and now we are joined over the phone by Dr. Ahmed Mahmoud, journalist. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So, sir, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that U.S.-Iran peace talks could resume this week. How do you read this statement?
Well, I think this is also what we call giving a way to give space for probably resolving a little bit the situation, or even getting ready for a worse scenario. The coming day will of course show us exactly what does he mean.
Yes, so as the diplomacy advanced, Trump sought to tighten also the pressure on Iran with a naval blockade. So how do you see the repercussions of this naval blockade on Iran?
Well, definitely this blockade will of course put a lot of pressure on everybody, not only the United States and Iran itself, but also it will make pressure on economic basics in all the world. I think because it affects the prices, higher prices for oil, for example, also higher prices for goods also, because that means a higher cost for naval ships transmitting the goods to everywhere in the world. And I think this is the kind of a difficult time for everybody.
And how does international law view this unilateral naval blockade?
Well, the thing is, this legal position is very complex, because it hints on a legal characterization that could be viewed in several ways. As a principle, there is a principle of prohibiting the use of force according to the UN Charter, Article 2, Paragraph 4, as all member states are prohibited from the threat of use force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any other state. So that means, if we view the blockade from that point of view, that means the United States has no right to do it, because it would be seen at that time as an act of aggression. Something like that should have a mandate from the Security Council under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter, where the Council determines a threat to international peace and security, and it authorizes military measures. So that's why it's a little bit complex. How can we determine the use of power against the Iranian territories is chosen and how we say, practiced?
So also, sir, the ceasefire is expected to expire around the 22nd of April. What are your expectations after the ceasefire expires?
I think this is something of what we call a trial to calm the markets and prevent insurance premiums from skyrocketing by providing time horizon for a solution. This is what we call a credibility trap, because if April 22 passes without a deal, hopes on both sides may feel compelled to act to prove their threats weren't empty, turning an artificial date into a real detonator. So I think it's kind of artificial deadline, frankly.
So, sir, if the Strait of Hormuz remains contested, what are the near-term global impacts on energy prices, shipping, insurance, middle-income economies already hit by supply shocks? What if it remains contested for more weeks?
I think it's more, as I said previously, it will be more suffering, and it will be more prices, higher prices, and it will be also a suffering for all ships going around the world to deliver goods to all countries. That means more inflation and more high prices and more what we call tough time for everybody.
So, sir, Tehran is demanding sovereignty over the strait and nuclear energy rights. Which of these demands are non-starters for Washington, and where is compromise possible?
I think both of them, but they are trying to find what we call again gaining any success in this, because Iran will never accept both terms, and the United States is willing to have the both terms. And then what is happening is Iran is trying to gain time and gain credibility for their demands, and also United States is doing the same thing. So I don't believe that this will end to a solution easily.
So, sir, do you expect the American citizens to put pressure on President Donald Trump, as we have seen many protests taking place in the United States against selling of weapons to Israel and against the attacks on Iran?
Well, I think from what I saw previously, Donald Trump doesn't care a lot about the pressure in the streets. But I think he would care more about the ballot boxes when the elections time comes. Then this will show what is exactly the choice of the American people and what exactly they were planning to do and who will win at the end.
So, sir, also Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati is currently in a visit to Washington, and he held talks yesterday with the foreign minister, with the American foreign minister on different files. How do you see the importance of these talks?
Well, I think Egypt has proven to the world that Egypt has a very big weight in the international political life, and also in these negotiations, and also about Gaza. So I believe this visit is very important to make a balance in the American attitude towards the region, and I think there will be a lot of discussion for Gaza, not only for Iran, but also for Gaza, about the roadmap, what is going to be done for this, and hopefully I believe that there will be good news about that.
And how do you evaluate the role Egypt is playing in mediating in this conflict?
I think it is a very good role, and I think it was expected also. At least I know that for myself, I believe that Egypt has a very strong negotiation capacity, and they know exactly how to manage all the situation in terms of calming the conflict and intermediating between all parties. So I think it's a very good role.
So, sir, also yesterday Lebanon and Israel held the first direct diplomatic talks in decades on Tuesday in Washington. Following more than a month of war between Israel and Hezbollah, how do you see the importance of these talks, and do you think that there is a way for negotiations?
I think it's very important, because for the first time the two parts of the conflict are speaking together, and but I hope that situation will calm down, and also that Israel will understand that it is not always a good thing to confront and attack other countries that easily. Yeah? It's something not appreciated at all, and not accepted at all. So hopefully I hope that these discussions will achieve something at the end.
Also, we see that Hezbollah opposed the direct talks and was not represented, appearing to step up its fire on northern Israel as discussions began. So how do you see this escalation also?
Well, I think Hezbollah should understand that even taking the role of what we call resistance, they should understand that there is still what we call the state body who is in charge of the politics and policies also, and that having harmony is much better than not having security in the country. And I think they should give some more for the space for diplomatic efforts, actually.
So, sir, do you think that this problem should be solved through diplomatic channels, or there is a way that the war will continue?
Well, from our experience in Egypt, I think diplomacy is always the right path, because war is not always solving any problems unless it is necessary, and you know what I mean. But then, even after war, there is always the place for diplomacy and discussions and negotiations. So if two countries in conflict are able to hold the negotiations and talks first, this is a success. Because then they will spare a lot of souls and a lot of resources that could be spent due to the conflict for no reason, actually.
So I'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed Mahmoud, journalist. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And